Hot off the press, INTK delivers quarter one financials. As Stuart always says, go for it. I think it's go time. So today we will cover INTK financials, what they have coming forward, and stay till the end as I have a stock that I've been kind of talking about on Twitter, and everybody's like, what stock is this? What stock is this? That I think is just going to explode soon. So let's jump right in. So as you can see here, quarterly reports filed, and this is the annual, the 12 months ended last year. So, it brought some concern. Everybody's like, oh, he's doing all these deals, what's happening and so forth. But what people don't understand is a lot of these, they have forward dates. So anytime you sign a contract, whether it's construction or, paint related or coatings, it's going to have a forward date. So they might get a deposit on it, or, they might sign a contract for 6 months. So these things take time. So it's going to cause a ripple effect. So as the months go and as the quarters and years go, it's going to continue to grow as those payables increase. So, as you can see here, this was the 12 months ended. Everybody was kind of batting some eyes at it. And then we're going to go through, because this is one thing that I was looking for. So, there was some unrestricted blocks that came out, about a month ago, and we saw a lot of downward pressure. I mean, you couldn't fight it. So everybody's just buying. They're like, oh, I'm buying twos. I'm buying down to 0.16, 0.17, because this company has a lot to offer. So, even so you might be red on some of it, it gives you that opportunity for, a larger share structure or a larger share count. So one thing I wanted to look for, so I was looking here, so you see Fuse Capital, 50 million shares, a lot of the consultants and so forth, 50 million shares, and we come over to here, and Fuse Capital is no longer on here. So, if you look at here, there's no more unrestricted, so the unrestricted has been cleaned up, so everything is completely restricted, so we shouldn't see any more downward pressure. And let's go over to here. And as you can see here, total assets 3.5 million. So huge difference, leading from last year to quarter one, and they're expecting quarter two to actually double. I think quarter two should be anywhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 10 million, as long as those payables start rolling in. So if anything, you should look to see accounts payable. Now, one thing that people might look at and say, oh, well, look at this. So accounts payable here. So they've been on a hiring streak. They've just, the demand for their product, and they want to grow so big, they're just hiring executives left and right, left and right. So I'll pull up their Twitter here. As you can see, Stuart's having a good old time. But INTK hypergrowth, filling key positions and hiring fast. I mean, they're hiring people everywhere. And these are salespeople, they're account executives. I think by the end of the year, this thing is just going to be a huge, huge opportunity. But one thing I wanted to point out too is, okay, so financial filed OTC, they're retaining PCAOB auditor this week. So eventually we're going to have audited fins, and let's see, look for a press release this week. All right, and the thing I'm most excited about is right here. See you in a plane to EU, The buyback and details of amount large before 5/26 live shareholder event. So they're going to start announcing buybacks at the end of this month and to June 1st and so forth. So that's a huge catalyst. I mean, just buying back shares, nobody knows how many, but usually leading up to the, his shareholder events, 5/26, can be pretty substantial. So if you get a chance to get more under O2, I would do it. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm doing it. I'm just buying as much as I possibly can for right now. So, go through yourself. If you want to know how to get to this, just go to OTC Markets. Click on INTK, come over here to disclosure, and you can look at all their different filings, and they're pretty easy to read. Some are more complex, but I was really impressed with the fact that there's no more unrestricted. Now, there are some loans on the books, which, I mean, if we get a high volume day, could churn some of those out. I don't know if they'll be selling yet, so something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I mean, that's impressive to go through and have that much growth in one quarter and really shut up the haters. So exciting, moving forward, love it. Now, let's talk about another stock. So this one, it had a sell the news event. And by that, I mean, I guess a lot of people are in. I didn't even know about this thing, but, the news hit, I guess, a shareholder letter, and people just completely sold it off. So I'm going to pull that up over here. And that is MGON. So Megalo Inc., if you look at the market cap here, 1.6 million. This thing is tiny. Held a DTC in the float, and now the float's probably not accurate. DTC is probably more in line with unrestricted. Hasn't been updated in a few weeks, but I'll show you why. I don't think there's any dilution. But 200 million OS at 0071. So, I started grabbing, I think, around like high fives, sixes. So I'm going to continue because this thing is going to explode. So look here at the chart. So as you can see here, accumulation completely maxed. I see no signs of any dumping, dilution, anything like that. And, I think this is where it had its, hey, we have news coming, and then it kind of choppy news, and then it kind of sold off. But this thing just sold into threes, like what? But luckily, started grabbing here. It's had 2 green days. Now we want to climb back up into this 0809 area, and I think it will. And this is why. So they had a shareholder letter, and it basically stated, hey, this and that. We've done several acquisitions, with science, technology, health, wellness, the whole nine. But let's see here. So next in the coming months, Megalo has planned further expansion of the portfolio to include fire inhibitors. So they have several more acquisitions on the way. And there's another one that states since March 31st, We'll have one coffee blends, and 2 more major purchases that are to be completed in the next month. And this was posted, I'd say a couple weeks ago. So I'm expecting news in June. And because it's already flown over 01 to 013 and so forth, at this float, if this thing gets, locked up per se, or, accumulated from the bottom, we could see 02, 03 fast. So I'm excited about this one, keeping an eye on it, and I think it can really move. But INTK, it's going to be exciting. Let's see, we're 515. The next 2 weeks leading up to the shareholder event, then the buyback start. I mean, I don't want to say it's free money, but I mean, if you're not accumulating, then, it's an opportunity gone. So keep an eye on that, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to put out a few education videos this week, also a challenge update, because I know I talked about doing a 10x increase account this year. And it's something that I had started in February. So I'll do the first 3 months update on that, where that's at in the growth and how I've gotten there. So that'll be coming out this week as well. So exciting times ahead.